Hello, Americans. There are a number of people with the state of Connecticut corrections offices and judicial branch offices that have rules with foreign and domestic military, interstates, and with Puerto Rico at and next to Hartford Hospital, and with people with Cuba involved with them. Again, Cubans against Cubans, Americans against Americans. Our military is criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions, raw collusions with Wethersfield police too, with task force, and with wars. They have generals worse than criminally incompetent involved with the state judicial branch offices and corrections offices in conjunctions to it and to that. They are leaking this involved with WFSB, fake conversations with me. They had time collusions with the sources and intelligence at next to wtnh, the Channel 3 News. And WTNH, Channel 3 News is WFSB. WTNH is next to the F.B.I. and next to Yale. See, every single campus, even the best campuses like Yale and UConn, they have rules with families like probate court judges involved with all kinds of drugs and medicines crimes and organized crimes and the differences of the guilt with that and putting fake things in databases as timed collusion /S with other names because they keep with how they keep the subject treatments, leaving out the roles of the validity of their guilt as evidences. For example, they have guilt, where and how they make treatments of subjects as critical, like the lack of inclusion, which is inseparable from slavery, which is inseparable from the breaching method against Native Americans, which is inseparable from the breaching method against modern countries A through Z, and then America's founders were born. And they didn't have free speech. They had to have this declassified for themselves. See, they have takes of American history and readings of it that are collusion /S with time sabotages, quality sabotages, and nature sabotages. And it's giving and having given them excuses. So they're putting fake transcripts at Hartford Hospital with foreign and domestic military before the World Trade Center attack in it and since. And they're pretending that they're what they know. Oh, we're doing this for that. In other words, they're leaking too. They have a General Keene involved with the Keene family and their neighbors, involved with the state of Connecticut corrections offices and judicial branch offices in conjunction to it and to that. Like with Wethersfield Pizza, I never saw a Maria Pizzina on a Wethersfield campus in my life. I only know her seeking me out to record, confess, demonstrate, confirm she has rules with New Haven, F.B.I, and people from other countries and foreign and domestic military families involved with next to Hartford Hospital and next to at Central Connecticut State University and the sides of it. They have rules intercities with child defenders, leaders of kids in Wethersfield, Hartford, Rocky Hill. John Maiano is one of the ones also involved with Elm Streets and Rocky Hill and Wethersfield, with various courts, judges, like concentrated probate court judges and their family members are involved with drugs and medicines crimes and organized crimes, and their roles with falsified police reports and with criminally foreign influence investigators in their campuses. Central Connecticut State University has a bunch of people from New Britain, Connecticut involved with the John Maiano, with predicate acts on my street, with families on my street, with the Wethersfield police that have been forging and switching names of multiple police departments. And these are families that used to live in their area too. That had nothing to do with it. The only time they're trying to plant fake exceptions too, with ones where there's fake exceptions. They're what's actually recorded, their need to pretend passions and emotions in the background. They are constantly setting up tricks to make things look debatable, like how they're the only three branches of government. They record, confess, demonstrate, confirm. How they have collusions with all these different countries, overt criminal enterprises, private ones that pretend to be against that at the same time. One of the ways to get away with it is pretending people have rules with drugs and alcohol that they didn't, because a bunch of people at Hartford Hospital who are supposed to be against that stuff have personally and professionally the family members of various courts involved with all kinds of drugs and medicines crimes with them and delusions and putting fake things in transcripts and collusion /S. Then to hide live progressions, they all have people run in at the same time to be patients, and they just fake what's audio recorded and audio and video at locations filmed 24/7. They put fake ties, fake natures of ties to kids. Wethersfield police fake me being at the Wethersfield police station to have a conversation with them as a kid and then as an adult too. And they stack a whole bunch of people names of all kinds of identity theft, fraud, slander, people that are acting tied to the people that are putting predicate acts with facts in the campuses and between them. And they're making the names next to campuses act like they had conversations with people. In other words, all natures of, they have readings of statutes and precedents that give the benefit of the doubt at the last second note to people based on their title, etc. At the last second note. That's why and how they've been changing and faking what's actually the validity of what's said online. They have readings of statutes that left out exceptions in exception nature. Like, for example, if a court has been putting predicate acts at their place and refusing writing to pretend other into databases, and then they say things on social media, then they make rape threats and things like that. They don't have the right to lie like that. They have recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed a whole bunch of switching names too. A bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court are involved with a bunch of other courts, the district court, Hartford courts, and with the same house /S people tied to them that used to be in the area, and a whole bunch of people from other areas that through the years have been coming and trying to put fake ties, fake natures ties to me, fake exceptions. That's why I didn't respond. The only 2 times I saw a Robert Rodriguez on my street. He's one of the people they've been putting from other areas through time, involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and people tied to him rolls with home break-ins in my area, also with former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, his co-defendants, their family members, and their kids, too. Collusions with all kinds of identity theft, fraud, slanders, and uses of the right to lie where they don't have the right to lie. There's a Dawn LaConch. I don't know anything about her. They must have taken my picture when I was walked by her. One time, they tried to make a fake exception with a Joe DeMauro and Heather Hansen. There are proofs that they might have roles with nuclear because of their roles intercities and intra-cities, and with their confession and why and how they make confessions the way they did, communicated instead of said, and also the exceptions exploited. As their roles with former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, before the World Trade Center attack with organized crimes at Hartford, at New Britain Superior Court. New Britain Superior Court, but also with people at New Britain's Central Connecticut State University. Also with Dean Judd and his kid, and other leaders of kids and their kids have roles with them, which is also why maybe they have roles with, wherever they have roles with the intelligence community through time, with judges and prosecutors and their family members, and their conjunctions to Church Street and Old Wethersfield, with all kinds of identity theft, fraud, slanders, and federal evidences crimes, and collusions with the home break-ins, and with a house at 80 Carriage Hill Drive per themselves. I've basically never even seen them with, and they try to make fake exceptions with a middle school, a summer school class, and why and how I was put in the summer school class. Mr. Neville was making things up about that with various courts and foreign and domestic medical families and people with conjunctions to Route 3 and to that, which is the judicial branch offices and the corrections offices. There are also rules, collusions, as a whole bunch of people from Wethersfield involved with the businesses and houses right next to Hartford Hospital, involved intercities and intercampuses and intra-campuses with predicate acts, with facts, with the databases, and with subject treatments, and with news predicate acts. Way worse than news, fake news. So you guys are calling each other liars, and you guys are forcing the individual leaders to be liars. All locations, areas, and states are liars. Or you would have brought up how the campuses are worse than criminally incompetence. You don't believe out black people's rights of lives from a goddamn thing. And our founders did not force that. You guys have our founders framed right through our campuses. All exceptions and exception nature come with demonstrations /S with the same thing. But you guys cannot follow mandated law. Get Judge Napolitano informed too, Fox Connecticut News, because you guys had changing and hiding collusions with the F.B.I next to you guys still, and other agencies and intelligence where you guys are leaking because you're demonstrating it to me. You guys are confessing. You guys are leaking. Because you won't get on paper. I've been asking since before the World Trade Center attack. You guys have been stacking predicate acts intercity against me to prevent me from having a voice. And as for your collusion /S with people since I was a kid involved with intelligence in New Britain, Connecticut, involved intercities and intra campuses in Wethersfield, and with the names next to them, like Demorrow on Valleycrest Street, and others tied to Valleycrest Street, tied to those Demorrows, and Valleycrest Drive, I believe, in Wethersfield, Connecticut, and as one of the conjunctions to Route 3, you know. And Morgan Circle right there too. And increasingly people that sought me out to make fake nature ties to me. And then to pretend that we were friends. I never tried to seek them out. It shows that, and they changed the fake, what's actually recorded with the phones. The FBI has phone crime methods with the courts too. The judicial branch and executive branch have predicate acts methods individually grouped in together. So this is a heads up, America. Be careful when you hear them making subject treatments about serious things. And whenever you hear them use words like lie or truth. Fix the news, predicate acts.